Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, replay gang, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go work. Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the only Male Cruise. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why StreamYard be clowning sometimes. So thanks for pulling up, every single last one of you. I thought my mic was on, but again, Anyway, today's episode, Derrel, McDavid's opening statements. This is where the finger pointing is about to begin. Also, just want to, bring to your attention myself and Just Jazz Only. We have teamed up. We're collecting or soliciting donations so that we can get these transcripts on the daily. Just Jazz Cash App is right there above her beautiful picture. So if you feel comfortable donating to her Cash App, feel free to do that. Or my Cash App is running through this ticker right here. You can donate to my Cash App. Either way, we are combining the funds and getting the transcript. So it's a lot going on. I can't believe it. So what I am going to do, because earlier somebody pulled up in the chat when I was live. And I was like, oh, yeah, did you hear that minor one got on the stand and said it wasn't her in the video? We was like, what? For real? And so we went over to Twitter, and that must have been some information put up by the ops, because she didn't say that at all. But we're going to go ahead and do a quick little Twitter check just so that we're up and on top of everything that's going on right now. Everything that we're seeing today on Twitter, as far as testimony is concerned, all of that's going to be available tomorrow via the transcripts, and we are going to have them here for you. So subscribe, hit that notification bell. All right, so according to Jason Meisner right now, when asked why R. Kelly gave her money at the beginning of a sex tape when she was 14, Jane started to cry audibly, saying after a long pause, because if anybody saw the tape or if it was released for some reason, he could say she was a prostitute. Come on, yeah. There's some other stuff going around saying that when Minor One's father found out, Kels dropped to his knees begging, talking about, oh, please, oh, please. Who can tell, y'all? There's so much going on. But like I said, the best place to get it is out of the court transcripts. And that is what we are bringing to you. All right. So hit the Cash App if you care. All right. Let me go shout out the chat, because, again, I appreciate y'all pulling up. Shout out to the number one mod, Island Browning. Y'all do what Island Browning say. All right. Do what she say, y'all. And shout out to Chi-Town's finest. What's T? Thanks for pulling up. So I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to get right into Derrel McDavid's attorney, Mr. Glossman, and his opening statement. So here we go. Mr. Glossman. Between 1997 and 2008, Gerald Margolis was one of the most accomplished and celebrated entertainment law attorneys in the entire country. He represented everyone from Robin Williams to Neil Diamond to the Rolling Stones. Jerry McGolis was the best at what he did. Between 2002 and 2008, Edward Jensen was the most celebrated criminal defense attorney in the whole city of Chicago. Over the years, he represented politicians, judges, lawyers, business leaders, organized crime figures whose prominence and fame was well known across the country. Edward Jensen was the best at what he did. Between 1997 and 2008, John Toohey was a partner at Mayer Brown, one of the largest and most prestigious law firms throughout the country. He was uniformly respected by judges and lawyers alike across the city of Chicago as an outstanding civil litigator with the highest integrity. John Toohey was excellent at what he did. Between 1997 and 2008, Jack Palladino worked as a private investigator for the famous and highly respected throughout the country. It was his investigation that brought down the tobacco industry and ended with one of the largest settlements in the country's history. He worked for Hollywood superstars and presidents of the United States. Jack Palladino was the best at what he did. So I'm sure you're all wondering, why do we begin this case against Derrel McDavid? By listening to the accolades of some of the finest legal professionals in this country. It is because the evidence will show that these are people that Derrel McDavid hired to defend Robert Kelly. And just as a quick side note, this Jack Palladino died under some suspicious circumstances back in February of 2001. Apparently, there was an attempted robbery, and he happened to have a camera with him, and he was able to snap a picture. That was the last picture he took of the two gentlemen that attempted to rob him. And he was admitted into the hospital, and he later died, etc. I think you can get more details about that on Just Jazz Only channel, but I also plan on covering that too. But right now, we want to get these transcripts down. All right. You have heard that Derrel McDavid is charged with conspiracy with entering into agreements to obtain child pornography to obstruct justice. But when it comes to the 2002 criminal allegations against Robert Kelly, the evidence will prove that these renowned professionals that I just told you about were the only people that Derrel McDavid entered into any agreements with. It was these men that decided what settlements would be paid to certain women who made allegations. It was these men who arranged the collection of videotapes that needed to be analyzed to figure out what was on them. It was these men who decided what people needed to be paid in order to obtain evidence and information critical to defending Robert Kelly. Now, do y'all believe that? Because I don't. I ain't buying it, but it sounds good. And Derrel McDavid entered into a formal agreement with these lawyers to work as their agent. He did what they directed. He followed their directions, their instructions. And he did it because, as Robert Kelly's business manager, that was his job. When it comes to the 2008 defense of Robert Kelly, you are going to learn that the lawyers, they did their job with excellence. You will learn that the investigators, they did their job with excellence. And working alongside with them, Derrel McDavid did his job with excellence. Okay, and where's the money at, Derrel? Okay, don't play with us. Oh, they better be glad I ain't on this, okay? Coming to the chat, Larry Hawkins said, I'm sorry, that's what I heard. That was me that said that one of the girls got on the stand. She said it wasn't her, but I heard it at work. Maybe I heard wrong. I apologize. Larry Hawkins, listen, baby, let me tell you something. Thanks for coming through and bringing what you heard on these streets. That's the only way we can make sure that we're all hearing the right thing. So thank you, and keep bringing more information, because that's what's up. We appreciate you. Trust that. All right, Curtis. Respect, Mel, much love. Much love to you, Curtis. Thanks for pulling up. Another number one mod, Baby Shay. Y'all do like Baby Shay say. Hit that like button. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, y'all. We're going to keep it moving. And let's hear some more of this, okay? Because this is one hell of a fabrication. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, as you listen to the evidence in this case, you will learn that doing their job as a lawyer and doing their job as a business manager to a superstar is not a crime. Being successful in your efforts is not a crime. Yet, it is that success by Derrel McDavid and these extraordinary lawyers that he hired is what brings him here today in front of all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the agreements made by Derrel, you will learn that they were indeed agreements with these professionals to provide the best possible defense to Robert Kelly. They were agreements with these professionals to defend and safeguard Robert Kelly's image and career. They were agreements made by men who were committed to doing their jobs at the highest level. The evidence will show that all they did, this is all they did. They worked with Derrel to do their job, and neither he nor they should be criticized for that. Neither he nor they should be held criminally responsible for the things about which their client never told them the truth. Ooh, it ain't my fault. Yeah. Okay, Derrel. You will learn that when it came to the defense of Robert Kelly, each of the acts Derrel took were at the express direction of the esteemed professionals that agreed that these were the right and legal things to do to best defend their client. And Derrel, he had no reason to doubt them. They were at all times just like him, just doing their job. And so, as this case unfolds, the question for you will become whether or not you really think that a group of the most excellent and respected attorneys and investigators in this country decided they would agree with Derrel to obstruct justice and obtain child pornography, to risk their entire lives, to risk their careers, their reputations for an R&B singer who was insignificant compared to other clients and an entire body of work? From this moment on behalf of Derrel, we ask you one important question. Why would they ever do that? And the evidence in this case will answer that question. The answer will be they wouldn't. The answer will be they didn't. And because, as you will learn, that these are the only people with whom Derrel agreed to do anything with, he can't be guilty unless they are too. And in this case, that's going to create a problem for the government. You see, when they brought these charges against Derrel, what the government did was they made a sort of promise. They made a promise to Derrel. They made a promise to this court. And they made a promise to all of you that they would prove each and every element of their case beyond a reasonable doubt. It's called the burden of proof. And when it comes to the elements of knowledge and intent, they will fail to keep that promise. They will fail to meet their burden, and they will fail because Derrel is not guilty. Now, there is a fundamental fact that is critical to all considerations about the defense of Robert Kelly between 2002 and 2008. Lawyers and managers have to rely on their clients. In fact, they have a duty to rely on their clients and listen to what their clients tell them. What they tell them shapes their beliefs. It shapes their opinions. It shapes what they think the strategy is that they need to follow. So the central issue to all of the considerations here about Derrel, about what he knew and what he intended, is what did Robert Kelly say to Derrel back in 2002 and 2008? What did he tell the lawyers? From the first of these allegations about a tape of a minor, you will learn that Robert Kelly denied it. The woman on the tape denied it. Her mother denied it. Her father denied it. They denied it to law enforcement officers. They denied it to Robert's own private investigators. They denied it to his lawyers. There are documented reports that you will see showing that time and again, the people working for Robert were told that these allegations were false, and not just by him, but by the woman who was in that video with him. And, ladies and gentlemen, as his business manager working with the lawyers to defend him, Derrel shouldn't be criticized for believing what they said. Especially when you will see back then there was a lot of evidence supporting to Derrel and the lawyers that the allegations about this tape were simply untrue. They were not legitimate. Let me come over here to the chat and see what y'all talking about. Ooh, wee. Shout out to One Pap in the house. Yeah, thanks for pulling up, everybody. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Replay gang, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Rob Sancho, shout out to you. Let's see, Kels, he's not guilty. Free him. All right, just checking the chat because y'all know y'all be giving me some information. Miss AP back in the house again. Appreciate y'all. Y'all keep an eye on that ticker. You know we're trying to donate or get some donations for these transcripts so we can bring them to you daily. All right. So make it rain in the Cash App if you can. Cruising down these YouTube streets in my 6'4". Ain't that it? Ain't that it? All right, let's see. Yeah, Derrel's attorney's doing a pretty damn good job with an opening statement. Sounds good. But see, we know some things, don't we, Jeff? Don't we? We know some things. All right. Let's see. Now, and we will present that evidence to you throughout the course of this trial, document by document. You will see it, and you will get a clear picture of what someone in Derrel's position would have believed back in 2002 and 2008. And you won't just have to take my word for it. Derrel has absolutely nothing to hide. He will take the stand and he will tell you in his own words what he did and what he did not do. And as you listen to the evidence in this case, it will be important to remember that what matters for these criminal charges is not what we know today, with different witnesses saying different things from what they denied back in 2002 and 2008. What matters here is Derrel's intent and Derrel's knowledge back then. What we have to focus on is what we saw back then and what he was told back then and what he believed back then. All right? Not as you sit here today. And you will see that based on what he saw back then, anyone in Derrel's position would have believed that that tape was illegitimate. Anyone in his position who saw what he saw and was told what he was told would have believed that the girl on the tape is not the person that's going to sit here in this courtroom and tell you a different story, different than what she told all of those people back then. We will show you that everything he saw and everything he was told led him to believe that the tape was not legitimate, that Robert should be exonerated at trial. And because he believed that, there was never any intention to obstruct justice or break the law. The only intention was to present the best defense possible and see him exonerated for a crime that Derrel and Robert's lawyers believed he did not commit. In this case, there are basically two types of crimes that Derrel is accused of. First, he is accused of entering into an agreement to obstruct justice. To prove that, you will learn that the government must show that it was his intent to get people to make false statements, that it was his intent to illegally manipulate evidence. However, if it's based on what he saw back then and believed back then that the defense of Robert Kelly was a good one and that his client was wrongly accused, it's not possible for him to be guilty of this. And the second type of crime he's charged with is possessing and agreeing to possess child pornography. To prove that, the government must prove that Derrel knew and intended to get child pornography and that he actually got it. But if Derrel never saw the tapes or knew what was on the tapes that are at issue in this trial, he can't be guilty of those charges either. And with that in mind, let us consider what some of the evidence will show that led to the 2008 acquittal of Robert Kelly. In December of 2000, you will learn for the first time that Derrel was told that there was some allegation of an inappropriate relationship between Robert Kelly and this woman we're calling Jane. Some anonymous person called the Department of Child and Family Services, and you will learn that Robert Kelly told Derrel about this incident. You will learn that Robert Kelly strongly denied that there was any truth to it. He told Derrel that the source of these rumors was a disgruntled individual. She went by the name of Sparkle, and Derrel knew that person. He knew that Sparkle hated Robert because they had a falling out over a record deal. You will find out when confronted with these allegations, Derrel did what anyone in his position would do. He contacted Robert's lawyer, Jerry Margolis. Jerry listened to these allegations and determined that they wouldn't simply take Robert's word for it. Instead, Jerry hired the renowned investigator that I talked about, Jack Palladino, and he hired him to go interview Jane and her family to try to get down to the truth of the situation. And you will find out that when Jack Palladino interviewed Jane, she told him that none of it was true. When he interviewed Jane's mother and Jane's father, they told him none of it was true. And so Jack prepared a report detailing all of this, that the fact that all of these individuals were denying the truth of any of these allegations. And on top of that, Jane and her parents told Jack that it was Sparkle who was starting these rumors about her and Robert. Jerry Margolis showed the report to Derrel, and from that moment, that report shaped Derrel's views on the claims about Robert and Jane. Now let me come over here to the chat, see what y'all talking about. This is one hell of a good opening statement. I do have to say that. I think it's on point. Miss AP, I love you too, girl. Sure. What's up, y'all? Thanks for pulling up, y'all. Sugar Baby YTF. Right on, girl. Thanks for pulling up. I had to mute the mic to holler at these grandkids. Let me keep it moving, y'all. Chi-Town, tell Loyalty to stay up all day. Frankie, what's up? Thanks for pulling up. Appreciate y'all. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, y'all, if you haven't already. Let me see. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I stepped away. Well, hi, everyone. Shout out to the beautiful Tiff West. It's the queen mod of YouTube, y'all. Let me get back to this opening statement, because this is, if I was a juror, I'd be hanging on the edge of my seat, because what else? All right. And Derrel McDavid had no reason to believe otherwise. And as time went on, from December of 2000 through 2001, there continued to be rumors about sex tapes involving R. Kelly being sold on the streets. Now, there was a whole variety of these sex tapes that were allegedly out there. There were tapes about Robert having sex with an adult dancer that worked for him. There were tapes of Robert having sex with multiple partners, one of them being his wife. There were tapes about Robert having sex with a wife of a professional athlete. And there was a fake internet video going around at that time, too. And faced with these rumors of sex tapes, Derrel did the same thing he did before. He called Jerry Margolis, and Jerry told him that these kind of sex tapes could ruin someone's career. The key was to get them. The key was to find out what was on them, to be ahead of whatever might get into the media. And an effort to do that was undertaken. In the summer of 2001, you will learn that a man named Chuck Freeman contacted Robert Kelly and told him he can get one or more of these sex tapes in exchange for money. And Robert told Derrel about this. He was his business manager. And as was his usual practice, Derrel called Jerry Margolis to figure out what he should do. And Jerry Margolis was adamant. If there are tapes that they can get their hands on, they should, so they could see what was on them. And at that time, there was no way to know what was on the tape that Chuck said he had. Certainly, Jerry and Derrel had no idea what was on it. And what did they do? They hired Jack Palladino to investigate Chuck. They hired Jack Palladino to get the tape to see if Chuck actually had the tape. And as Miss Bongine told you before me, you're going to learn that Chuck Freeman, yeah, he's a criminal. He is a con man. He has committed crime after crime, showing his dishonesty and his willingness to lie and cheat just to get money. That's what he does. That's all he is. And Jack Palladino learned that from his investigation. So Jerry Margolis and Jack Palladino knew that Chuck could not be trusted. And the plan was for Jack to meet Chuck in Kansas City and get whatever tape Chuck said he had. This happened in August 2001. And you'll be able to see that this plan was made by Jerry Margolis and Jack Palladino, because Jack Palladino's records and Jack Palladino's bills regarding this trip, they're all addressed to Jerry's law firm. They're certainly not agreeing to get any kind of child pornography. They were agreeing to get whatever tape he had and see what was on it. You heard the government say that. You know Derrel went to Kansas City and he met with Chuck. He saw what was on that tape and he took that tape in his possession. But the source of these claims is only one person, Chuck Freeman. And you will learn that as Chuck Freeman was telling his story to the government, he told a lot of different stories. His claims were both incoherent and inconsistent. He told lie after lie and had been caught doing so. And he is telling these stories to get immunity for his admitted crimes of blackmailing other people. And he is the only person that is going to say that Derrel went down to Kansas City to get some sort of tape. Unfortunately for Chuck, the evidence in this case is going to tell a far different story. The evidence in this case will show what really happened. Bills and reports from Jack Palladino will show him listing all of the people that he interacted with in Kansas City. Derrel is not on that list. Jack Palladino's bills will list the people he had phone calls with, and one of those people was Derrel, showing that Derrel wasn't standing next to him in Kansas City. Jack had to call him to talk to him. But there will be far more powerful evidence than that, which exposes the lie that is being perpetuated or perpetrated by Chuck Freeman. You will learn that because Chuck is a criminal. An off-duty law enforcement officer was hired to be present in Kansas City to keep Jack safe when he met with Chuck. He was there when the meeting happened. He saw who was in the room, and he will tell you himself from that witness stand, Derrel McDavid was not in Kansas City. Derrel did not receive any videotape from Chuck Freeman. Jack Palladino got the tape. The tape was sent to Jerry Margolis. Derrel never saw it. And Jerry Margolis, after he watched this tape, called Derrel to tell him that it was such poor quality you couldn't identify anything about the person on that video. There was no child pornography involved. Whatever story Chuck might try to tell you now is going to be disproved by reliable and undeniable evidence. You will also learn that Derrel McDavid's beliefs about the truth and legitimacy of the claims about Robert Kelly having sex with underage girls was further impacted by additional investigations done by Jack Palladino. You will learn that Palladino interviewed a woman who was being approached by one of Robert's fired employees, Demetrius Smith. And he was offering her money to lie about having underage sex with Robert Kelly. And you will learn that the money to pay her to lie was coming from Robert's fired ex-manager, Barry Hankerson. And I want you all to remember that name. Not only did Jack interview this young woman, she wore a wire and was recorded telling these people that she never had underage sex with Robert Kelly. And in response, they told her it was fine. They told her she would be paid by Barry as long as she made up that lie. That report was received by Jerry Margolis. It was shown to Derrel. And at that moment, they knew that people were being solicited to make false claims about Robert Kelly. And as women were coming forward, they weren't going to the police. They weren't going to investigators. They were going to lawyers who were demanding money to keep their false claims out of the media. And at that time, Derrel already knew that people were being paid to make up false claims like this, paid by people trying to destroy R. Kelly's career. Anyone in his position would have doubted anyone simply because they came with their hands out asking for money. And that was happening all the time. All right, let me pull up to the chat, see what y'all talking about. Thanks for pulling up, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let me see here. All right, had to get to the start of it. All right, Tiff West in the house. Let me see, Small Fry in the house. What's up, Small Fry? Thank you so much for pulling up. Sir Miguel, shoot. Well, Sandra Giller, girl, we all we got, girl. Yeah, of the Ube of the tube, baby. Absolutely, Tiff West. Let me see. Let me see here. Just checking, y'all. Trying to see if y'all got some info for me that we all need to know. Woo chow. Woo chow is right, one pap. Woo chow all day. Hold on. Let me see here. Just running through y'all comments real quick. Mac Dime in the house. Shout out to Mac Dime. In Living Color TV. I'll be sure to subscribe to In Living Color. She got some great content. Nicki Minaj, Meg Thee Stallion. If you are interested in those topics, In Living Color TV, boy, she'll straighten y'all right on out. Give y'all everything you need. Keep you hip to the square. Let me see. Just listening. We just listening, Mel, and giving greetings, huh? Appreciate you, baby. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me see. Girl, I wish I could be a fly on the courtroom wall, too. And prayers to everybody that's actually going out there because monkeypox is high in Illinois. Shout out to Shrink and Sharon. Thanks for pulling up, Shrink and Sharon. All right, y'all. Let's get back to it. So, on February 4th, 2002, that same Barry Hankerson made a call to Robert's assistant. She then contacted Jerry Margolis, who called Derrel. Barry Hankerson called to make a threat. He threatened that a tape was coming out, that it was Robert and his goddaughter, that the tape was going to ruin him, and that it was going to put a stop to a scheduled performance at the Salt Lake City Olympics on February 8th of 2002. 4 days later, and this call was nothing but threatening and vindictive in nature. And when Derrel heard that, he knew two things. He knew that Barry was already out there paying people to make false claims about having underage sex with Robert Kelly. And he knew that Jane, her mother, her father, had repeatedly denied having any kind of inappropriate relationship with R. Kelly. So when this call came from Barry Hankerson, Derrel was obviously suspicious. Then, on the same day, Jerry Margolis and John Toohey, one of Robert's civil lawyers, got a call from the Chicago Sun-Times. They said they had a tape of Robert and a minor the same day that Barry Hankerson called with his threatening call. And you will learn that Robert's lawyers, they were first told to come see the tape. And when they tried to, they were told they couldn't see it anymore. And the tape they were trying to see, it was believed to be almost identical to the fake internet video that was circling around the time. This was all documented in a letter by one of Robert Kelly's lawyers that was shown to Derrel. I'm sure you'll see it too. So, Derrel was hearing about a tape that was connected to a guy who was paying people to lie about R. Kelly, a tape that they wouldn't let his lawyer see and which was apparently connected to some fake internet video. No one in his position could have possibly believed that there was any legitimacy to this video. And the Sun-Times story, it ran on February 8th, 2002, the same day Robert Kelly was scheduled to perform at the Olympics, the biggest moment of his career. And to Derrel, the timing of that seemed a little bit like a setup. And behind all of it, Robert Kelly and Jane continued to deny that there was any truth to it. Now, hold on a minute, y'all. Let me sip this water real quick. Yeah, this attorney is weaving one hell of a page turner, okay? Okay. And that's the information that Derrel McDavid and And that's the information that Derrel McDavid had that informed his view about this video that was made in the middle of the 2002 prosecution. And that's what we're going to be talking about during this trial. When Derrel found out about that video, he hired Edward Jensen, the best criminal defense attorney in Chicago. After he was hired, Ed Jensen personally met with Jane privately in his office. After that meeting, he came up to Derrel, looked him in the eye and said, "It's not her. The tape is fake and I'm going to prove it." And they set out to do just that. You will learn that Derrel McDavid was shown interview reports from a witness who was aware of the plans to generate fake tapes. You will learn that he was shown the presentation of a defense expert witness that did a frame-by-frame analysis of Robert Kelly's back on the video. There is a mole on his back, and in these frames, you saw the mole disappearing, then reappearing, then moving place to place to place. And on top of all that, he was shown Jane's grand jury statement where she said under oath that it was not her on the tape. And faced with all that, at that time, ladies and gentlemen, Derrel believed that that tape was a fraud. He had no reason to believe anything else. So everything he did was to work with the lawyers and to exonerate his client, Robert Kelly. You will learn that during the pendency of the criminal charges, another person came out saying that they had a sex tape. Her name is Lisa Van Allen. And you will learn that she's associated with Chuck Freeman. And like Chuck, she claimed to have a threesome video of Robert Kelly and Jane and her. And then she brought that to Derrel. Then she brought that to Derrel, that she watched it with Derrel, and that she turned it over to Derrel. But just like Chuck Freeman, this woman has lied about this situation again and again and again. Her associate, Keith Morrell, was discussing with Chuck Freeman about this supposed tape at the time. And he has lied over and over again. Lisa Van Allen, too. Lisa had to get immunity due to the acts of blackmail that she was engaged in. She, too, changed her story again and again. She, too, will be caught in lie after lie. And she, too, will have her lies exposed by the evidence in this case. Because the evidence will show that it was the law office of Edward Jensen that was in charge of the efforts to obtain whatever tape she said she had to determine what was on it. And this will be shown to you on polygraph results relating to the copy of that tape. These polygraphs were ordered by Edward Jensen. The results were provided to Edward Jensen. This was Edward Jensen's investigation. Derrel never made anyone do anything. And you will learn that when Lisa Van Allen turned over the tape, there were people present, not liars and blackmail artists, but professional people that saw how that tape was delivered. Derrel never got that tape. The tape was reviewed by Edward Jensen and his experts, and what you will learn is that the tape that Lisa Van Allen gave them was a threesome. She was in it, but the third party in it was not a minor victim. The third party was Robert Kelly's wife, Andrea. Ooh. And while he desperately did not want that video to be in the media, it had nothing to do with any crime. You will learn that Chuck and Lisa were paid for turning over the sex tapes. You will learn that the payments were authorized by the lawyers Robert Kelly was working with and Derrel was working with. These payments were recorded in his bookkeeping, and these payments were included in expense reports submitted to the IRS. Let me come to the chat real quick, see what y'all talking about. Anybody got any updates? Y'all heard anything? Because that is what's moving around on social media now. That Lisa Van Allen and Andrea, who claim not to know each other all through the surviving R. Kelly, Yeah, but come to find out, y'all was getting it in. Ain't that right, Transformation Tiffany? Lord have mercy. Woo chow. Okay? In the words of One Papoose. Okay? Hold on, let's see. Somebody, what you said, Showtime. Ain't that it? Showtime after dark, baby. Shoot. Hold on, let's see. Oh, you did not say a Freaky Friday. Ain't that it? Larry Hawkins is back in the house. We appreciate you, Larry. All right. This was a legitimate investigation done by lawyers to protect Robert Kelly from media exposure. Derrel was authorized by the lawyers to provide the money, and no one ever at a single time told him that any of this was illegal. This trial will take you back in time, ladies and gentlemen, back to the dates ranging from 1997 to 2008, and you will see that at the time, Derrel had absolutely every reason to believe what Robert Kelly was telling him and his lawyers. And Derrel listened to the lawyers. He trusted the lawyers. He followed their directions. And in doing so, they did a great job for Robert. Robert was found not guilty because, based on what was known to everyone back then, that was the right answer. And no one who knew had the information that Derrel did then, at that time, thought anything differently. Eventually, there was a falling out between Derrel and Robert. You will see Derrel sued Robert for money that he believed he was owed. He identified the specific basis for the money he was owed. It was money he was owed for doing his job. It was money that he was owed for doing the best job he can do to the best of his ability. Okay. Sure, Derrel. And everything you need to know about that lawsuit is spelled out right on the document, on its face. And we will go over it with you, paragraph by paragraph, to prove it. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the course of this trial, you will see some awful things that will make you want to look away. But as the evidence comes in, ask yourselves, what part of this did Derrel see before 2008 trial? And the answer will be none of it. And you will also hear some terrible things that you're not going to want to listen to. But once again, the question for you will be, which of those things were told to Derrel before the 2008 trial? And again, the answer will be the same, none of it. You will learn that while the 2002 charges were pending, the entire music industry supported R. Kelly. They did not believe the allegations, and his record sales soared during the time of his case. The public supported R. Kelly. The people did not believe the allegations. And you will find out that prior to 2008, the 2008 trial, the things that Derrel saw, the things that Derrel was told, and the discussions Derrel had with the lawyers all indicated that the charges against Robert Kelly simply weren't true. And so, faced with what he saw, faced with what he was told, Derrel did his job. The lawyers for R. Kelly did their job. The jury in 2008, they did their job. The fact that Robert and the girl in the video decided to lie to everyone about it back then makes it impossible to prove that his manager or the lawyers ever did anything but what they thought they were supposed to do. Because doing your job is not a crime. Now, I got to take this quick sidebar. You see how they pointing fingers? The fact that Kels and them lied, that ain't Derrel's fault. Don't do that. Don't do that. You trying to drop a dime. You trying to drop a dime on Kels. See, you right, small fry popcorn like a mug. Popcorn, shout out to Tracy Cook. Thanks for pulling up, baby love. Yeah, let me see. Only Mel remind me of the lady talking to them. You know what, McDime, I hear that all the time, so I'm going to believe you. Y'all do like Island say. Do like Island say, y'all. Miss AP, hot damn, this girl, what you done said in the words of one pap, woo chow. Which is, I can't with you, Mac. Ooh, yeah. See, I'm just automatically trying to, Derrel didn't know nothing about it. It's not his fault. It ain't my fault that Kels and them lied. Don't do that. Don't do that, Derrel. Now, see, you ain't right. But this is why they didn't want this case severed. All right, back to the opening statement. And so what we expect this trial to end just as it began, and a case about agreements that Derrel made with Robert Kelly's lawyers to do the best they can to defend him. This case will end with the fundamental question that brings us to stand up here before you today on behalf of Derrel. If these lawyers, if these investigators who are known all around the country really knew the things that you will see and the things that you will hear in this case back then, do you really believe this esteemed group of professionals would risk their careers, would risk their lives, would risk their reputation and their legacy to defend someone they believe to be a pedophile? Damn, how many buses is Derrel and them going to try to throw Kells under? What? I got to read that again, y'all. This is for the replay gang. He said, if these lawyers, if these investigators who are known all around the country really knew the things that you will see and the things that you will hear in this case back then, do you really believe this esteemed group of professionals would risk their careers, would risk their lives, would risk their reputations and their legacy to defend someone they believe to be a pedophile? Damn, that's cold-blooded. All right. The evidence will give you the answer clearly. The answer will be the same then as it is now. The answer is they wouldn't. The answer is they didn't. The answer is based on what they were told and based on what they were shown. This group of professionals simply did their job. Derrel did his job. That's what the evidence is going to show. And that's why Derrel McDavid must be found not guilty on all counts. All right. So then Judge Harry says, thank you. And we'll recess for lunch. And they went to lunch. And they probably, I bet you they was feeling real good about themselves. Yeah, you did that, man. Or like Armand Wiggins was saying in his show last night, Derrel's attorney ate that. He ate that opening statement. He ate that opening statement. This is some BS. See now. Now that's the shit there I'm talking about. Yeah. Do you think they would really even concern themselves, connect themselves? Would they connect themselves with that? Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. They're just doing too much. What you said? Whew. Yeah, but Derrel's attorney, he ate that. He ate that opening statement. It's just ugly. But we knew it was going to be some finger pointing. We knew that when they submitted that, when Derrel and them submitted that motion, talking about, no, we don't want to sever it. There's no need to sever it. Yeah, that's why that went down like it did. Many high profile choose their players. They will play. All right now, Lasana. Okay, let me see here. I'll be back. Yeah. So, so we got June Brown's opening statement. I just decided I'm just going to break them down one by one, keep them, keep it cute. You know what I'm saying? And just so, for the replay gang, they can just come in and get exactly what it is they're trying to hear. Plus, everybody and their mom about to be talking about this R. Kelly trial. Trial of the century is what I call it. So, I'm going to come back a little later and run through June Brown's opening statement. But yeah, we got tomorrow's transcripts ordered, y'all. So we do plan on getting those. And so everything that's in social media right now about, the testimony with minor one, that will be all over that tomorrow. So I can't wait for that to pull up. Anybody got any questions, or has anybody heard anything else? That video 4, isn't that something? If y'all hip to it, I don't know. What y'all think? What do y'all think about the trial so far? Why do you think they called minor one so quick? Anybody got an idea as to why they might have done that? I think they wanted to hurry up and just, get the jury emotional and get the jury mad. Like, how dare he have sex with this young girl? So. April Showers in the house. Thanks for pulling up, April Showers. Appreciate you a lot, girl. So, so that's really pretty much all there is to it, y'all. If y'all get a chance, come on and support. Help us bring these transcripts, okay? If you feel comfortable donating to Just Jazz Only, feel free to drop that in her Cash App. You see her Cash App right above her beautiful face on this picture, or you see my Cash App scrolling through the ticker. We appreciate it if you'll help us to bring these transcripts to air, okay? And if you want a copy of them, you know, the donation that you make that helps us to obtain the transcript we get, you will get a copy of that transcript. So, no questions asked type thing. So that's pretty much it, y'all. That is the podcast. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, Replay Gang. You know what to do. Leave a comment because we want to hear from you. Let me see here. One Pap said, sounds like it's off to a great start. Bongine stays on discredit and miscarriage of justice. Ain't that it? It does. It does sound like it's off to a really great start. And really, to be honest with you, I don't think that Minor One's testimony has really been, really not too earth-shattering, at least according to, like Jason Meisner and them, So it ain't nothing we want to hear about our boy Kels, but, doesn't seem to be something like, I guess we've all heard it before, is essentially what I'm trying to say. So, but that's it, y'all. That's the podcast. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, Replay Gang, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. And until next time, y'all, we will see you when we see you. Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, Replay Gang, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work.